Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the November 2025 Orange Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. My name is David Crow. I'm the chairman. To my right, I have Wayne Garrett and Pat Panza, who are our members. We have Jack Demersion. I almost called you Pat Demersion. I don't know why. Jack Demersion, who is our zoning enforcement officer. We have Jenny Bowser, who is a recording secretary. We have Bonnie Sayat, who is our public stenographer. We have Eric Rosel to my left, who is our other member. There are 4 members tonight, so any petition that comes before the board today will need 4 positive votes in order to pass. With that, gentlemen, has everybody had an opportunity to read the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes.
Any additions or subtractions to suggest?
I would make a motion to approve.
Okay. My secretary, Ms. Bowser, asked me to make sure I point this out tonight, because you can't pick it up on YouTube out there in television land. So Wayne Garrick has made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Pat Panza. We'll just go by acclamation here. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you, gentlemen. The minutes are approved. So tonight, we have one petition. I'm going to read this into the record. Orange Zoning Board of Appeals to appear one time on Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025, and one time on Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. The Orange Zoning Board of Appeals issues this notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Orange Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a meeting on Monday, November 3rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Orange Town Hall, 617 Orange Center Road, to conduct a public hearing on the following. Petition number 1844, submitted by Mark and Stephanie Scarazzini. Did I get that correct? Scarenzi. I apologize. Mark and Stephanie Scarinzi for property known as 314 Ann Rose Drive. A variance of section 383-30A setback from the street line property boundary as requested. Application materials are on file in the Orange Zoning Office. A copy of this notice has been filed with the Orange Town Clerk, dated in Orange, Connecticut, this 21st day of October 2025. David Crow, Chairman, Orange Zoning Board of Appeals. That still surprises me every time I see it, Chairman of the Board. I still expect to see Noah's name there.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, do we have any business before we get to it, or we'll just call it? Okay. So with that, I'd like to invite Mr. or Mrs. Scarinzi or their representative to come forward and present the petition to us. You got your, I see you brought your help there with you. Is he gonna be speaking tonight?
We'll send him up later.
Anybody who's gonna speak at tonight's meeting, you can come on up. You have to do it here from the podium. Please don't shout across the room. Shouting across the room will be not taken as evidence. Everybody will get an opportunity to speak. This is a public hearing, so please let everybody finish what they have to say. If you want to speak, please come up to the podium, as this gentleman has done. Introduce yourself to the board by giving your name and your address for the record. Okay? So, if you would.
Good evening, my name is Mark Scarinzi. My address is 314 Ann Rose Drive, Orange, Connecticut. My family and I are here tonight requesting a variance on our property to construct a usable garage. We're requesting a variance based on the following. The hardships that are current size and shape of our property is a hardship that isn't self-created, that the property has pre-existing conditions. The zoning laws were established prior to our current zoning code. Our property is approximately 45,000 square feet, and the current zoning code is 60,000. And additionally, the corner lot reduces the buildable areas due to the requirement of the larger setback. So we would also like to add that proposed construction will remain consistent with the character and of the surrounding properties, and granting of the variance will not adversely affect the neighboring properties. We're just requesting the minimum relief necessary to make a reasonable use of the property so we could store our cars and our pellets that we use for home heating.
Okay, Mr. Scarinzi, I just want to say you're building a garage, is
Yes.
that correct? Okay. And you're asking for a setback variance from 50 feet from the street to, I think, the
45.
43.6. So you're asking for,
It's a
6.4 feet?
4-foot variance.
Yes.
okay. Just want to make sure I understood. And technical help is working on a microphone. We'll just keep working without it.
Do I have to repeat myself?
No, no. We'll assume we got it right the first time. Does anybody have any questions for this witness? Go ahead, Wayne.
I'm curious if any design studies were performed to shift the structure back 6.4 feet, because you have 67.5 feet now to the back there, with over 40 feet of area. And if you shifted this structure back, and I looked at the plans, and I can see that it could potentially work, you wouldn't have to ask for any relief.
Yes, we
Do you have
did,
any drawings of those other studies?
my architect does. We did research that. It did not look as nice as it would have looked. I know that's not.
That's not a hardship.
But it also, that was also, we didn't know at the time, we had the B100 survey done on Friday, I believe, or last week, and we didn't know if that was gonna be another area for the septic, for the replacement septic.
I don't know, I see plenty of room in the north side here, sort of the northwest side for septic. So you don't have any other design studies that demonstrate the hardship?
Not with me tonight, no.
Okay. Because then you could conform to the setbacks. Thank you.
On the application, find this.
So your plan here is to bring the new garage, see, there's a little jog in it, but it comes flush
Make
to
sure your microphone's off, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Your plans bring the back of the garage flush with the back of the house.
Yes.
With that little jog there, there's the walkway that goes to it. I think that's on the south side of the house there. Is that right?
South is.
That way, yeah. Up on the map, yeah.
Up on the map.
I also noticed that the only place you need that one variance is on that corner, right? As you go farther up the southern line there, you get farther away from the road because there's a bend in the road there. So you said that this house, this lot pre-existed zoning, is that correct, Jack? Do you remember?
I think what the applicant was saying was this lot is a pre-existing, non-conforming lot to today's standards.
Oh, okay, all right.
And currently, there's blacktop there. the
Yeah.
driveway, So it would just be reducing the.
Yeah, I was looking at the pictures. I saw that you're basically gonna be, it's blacktop now. It'll wind up being part of the house, right?
Correct.
And there's a small attic above it, but that's not livable space, right?
Correct, it's not livable space, no.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? It is kind of an odd corner lot. It's got the circle there instead of the, go ahead.
The thing I want to say is that the fact that it is kind of an odd lot and with the curve of the road, you know, the way I look at this is aesthetically, the house, the way the architect did design it, even though he's going into, you know, going into the setback just a little bit, I think bringing that garage more flush to the front of the house to the neighborhood will have a more aesthetic pleasing appearance than actually sliding this garage back 6 feet. Then I think from the road, it's gonna look a little bit more goofy, if you wanna call it that. So I think the compromise of, just bringing that, into the setback a little bit and, making it more pleasing for the neighborhood, I think kinda, to me, is just a little bit ultimately a better idea, opposed to pushing it back, getting it into you know, the setback, but then the house isn't gonna look as nice. So I think overall, to the community, I think just bringing that forward just a little bit, how they have it is ultimately better looking. You know, the road is just kind of a big curve there, so, but,
Now, did I hear you
That's
say
just
you're
my
gonna redo the
opinion.
septic as well?
No,
I'm sorry, Eric, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did I cut you off?
No. Yes, well, the health department requested that we do a B100A survey.
Okay.
We got that created last week to do a replacement in case we ever did, if it ever failed, we had a replacement area.
Okay.
yeah, reserve.
All right. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Well, without having the benefit of seeing a study, how do we know that moving the structure back or a different approach to the structure doesn't function within the setbacks?
Without you seeing the study or without you seeing the plans for it?
Without seeing an alternative study demonstrating that this is the least relief that you would require versus complying with the setbacks.
Well, we did do that, we looked at the plans, the completed plans from the architect, and we all agreed that it wasn't optimal, and it wasn't in the best interest of our community or our neighborhood to do it that way. And we decided it did look best like that, that's why we're requesting the variance based on these hardships that I mentioned previously.
Any other questions for this applicant? Just giving up on it, huh? No? For those of you out in TV land, that's one of the people that actually makes the magic happen. Only get to see her every once in a while, usually in the back room back there. So, any other questions for this gentleman?
No, I think Wayne's got a good point, as far as, with the ZBA, you know, it's either black or white. And-
Well, let's save our discussion for
Okay.
the public, or when we close the public hearing. So if you got a question, go ahead and ask her.
Well, the question is I think it would be prudent for you to actually research that and maybe table this meeting and come back with that information. This way, it would solidify exactly what you're saying, that it's correct, or you may have found another way of doing it and not have to come back. So it's just a suggestion.
Understood.
Anything else?
No.
You can take a seat.
Thank you.
Does anybody else wants to speak on behalf of the petition? Yes. Just introduce yourself and give us your address, please.
Sure will. My name is Carol Luddy. My husband and I resigned at 321 Anrose Drive, right across. Luddy, Luddy.
Thank you very much.
We're right across the street from Mark and Stephanie, and I can tell you that I agree with, excuse me, with Eric, that the overall look of the house would be much more aesthetic and pleasing to me as the one who would be looking at it all the time, to have it flush with the front of the house. Pushing it back, I think, would likely serve the needs that they have for car and household storage, but it definitely wouldn't look as nice as it would be if it was flush with the front of the house.
Ms. Letty, hi, I'm Dave. I'd like to, could you just come over here on the map and point where you live in relation to the?
Sure.
So this is Amrose Drive here.
So we're right here.
Okay, so you're across the street.
Yep,
To
right
the
across
north.
the street.
To the north.
Okay.
So, well, there's an arrow pointing there. I think that's.
Must be to the north. I don't get any sun in my house.
All right, so you're across the street to the north
Directly
there.
across the street.
Thank you.
And with a beautiful front porch that I like to look at their house.
Oh, okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Letty?
Just to finish by saying, I understand concerns about how far it is from the street. It is a very strange corner that's there, but I think to force a backflow of the garage based on a strange corner would really not be fair to the Scarenzis. They really just want to improve the look of their house, the functionality of their house, and it definitely will have a positive benefit on the neighborhood.
Any questions for Ms. Letty? Thank you very much. Elizabeth.
Sure.
Anybody else want to speak on the behalf of the petition? So I saw you raise your hand before, but Miss Luddy better looking than you, so,
Said everything I was gonna say.
okay.
It's the curve of the road.
It's the curve of the road, okay? Anybody else want to speak on behalf of the petition? Your helper's telling you that maybe he wants you
He
to tell.
really wants to tell you guys that he wants some more space to
Wait, you have
store
to go up to the,
We-
you
we
have to
did-
go up to the.
He's
yeah.
not, he doesn't need to go.
Thank you.
It's,
Okay. Does anybody want to speak against the petition? Hearing nothing, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Just one point before that. If
Go ahead.
we are gonna go the route of maybe we want additional documentation brought in
Right.
and then we reconvene, my suggestion would be to keep the public hearing open. So maybe a little bit of discussion now, just to determine if that's the feeling of the board.
Can we discuss it on the public?
Sure, yeah, we can have any discussion now, and if we decide, or you guys decide that, hey, we do wanna come back with maybe a little more documentation, then the public hearing is still open to present additional documents and get input from the public next time.
Okay,
Of course, up to the board if that's the direction they wanna go.
well, we'll talk it over. I'm kind of with Eric on this one. It's such a small variance. I mean, we're talking about 6.4 feet. It is, I do believe there's a hardship based on the
Yeah.
curvature of the road and the size of the lot. There is a hardship. The question becomes the one that Wayne raised, which is it the least, is requesting the variance the least, how did I put that? Relief necessary. It sounds like they've done some work, they just don't have it with them. So it sounds like they've considered it. Their neighbors seem to think that it would be more aesthetically pleasing if we
Consider it,
granted the variance. So, that's my initial feeling on it. What do you think, Eric? What do you?
The only thing I'm looking at is like if they actually had to slide this garage back, just with eyeballing it quick, it looks like they would have to slide it back like 20 feet. Or maybe lose, was that a mudroom? Was that in between or the?
I heard an uh-huh over here, so that must mean it's the mudroom.
Yeah, it's the mudroom. You don't want to lose the mudroom.
Yes.
You know, it looks like it would have to be slid back, you know.
A significant
quite a bit.
amount?
I mean, it's just a weird road.
Yeah.
It's just a big curve. It's not even a corner lot. It's just a big curve.
Sure, the public hearing is still open if you would like, but you do have to go and, yep, you gotta go back.
Just reintroduce yourself
Yeah.
here.
My name's Mark Scrinzi. I live at 314 Anrose Drive, and I did touch on this subject of the alternative designs on the application. I just did not have a copy with me. I have electronic copy. I know I made copies for the board.
You want to put your cell phone in evidence? We'll have to keep it. We don't want to do that.
You know what? That's not a bad thing. My work stuff's on here, so. I'd have to find it, so it might take me a moment, but, I did touch the fact that we did, research alternative ways to build it by building one larger one. It didn't fit our needs, pushing it back didn't fit our needs,
Well,
so.
that might actually fit the bill if he could show us
Yeah,
on his cell phone.
exactly.
We don't have to necessarily put it in evidence, but we
I
can
would
say
just
that.
request
It's an
that,
email.
that document be immediately emailed to me after, so I can enter it into the record.
The application is the one I submitted, the 10 copies?
No, the alternative design.
Oh, I don't have that on my phone, I'm sorry. I
Oh,
was talking about
okay.
the application, I touched
Yeah, we
upon
have
it-
the application in
Yes.
front of us.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying, I
yeah,
touched
yeah.
upon that in the application, I just don't have the
Okay,
designs with me,
gotcha,
I'm sorry.
gotcha.
We thought you had
No,
email
I do
pictures
not.
of that
Yeah.
now.
We were all excited.
Yeah. One way to
No,
go.
I don't have those on there.
Wayne, well, go ahead.
I think maybe some of my comments are misconstrued.
No.
I ask those questions because I think it's our responsibility to ask those questions. I'm not saying what you've done isn't aesthetically pleasing or appropriate or warrants a variance, but I think in order to study the request properly, then the questions are appropriate. I'm not criticizing, let me put it that way. So, my second point, actually, to the board is, I'm not sure whether it was announced, but since there are only 4 members here tonight, you need to get a vote of 4.
Yes,
Yeah.
Dave announced that.
Did you announce that?
I said that at the beginning,
Oh,
yeah.
See?
It's a
Age.
supermajority.
Sorry, I slipped it in there.
My golf game's suffering from the same thing. So, okay, so I just wanted. to-
Yes, it's just clear.
I just wanted to clarify and make sure that when we take an action, that we're taking it and it's appropriate. It's just not a rubber stamp.
Understood.
We are blessed here in Orange with a very knowledgeable zoning board. And so those are the 2 pertinent questions to ask every time. Is there a hardship, and is that the least, the least impact we can have? So that's, our board is trying to address both those concerns.
Okay,
Okay?
great.
Pat, you got anything to, you can take a seat if you want. and
Thanks.
We'll
I think
finish
you
it
pretty
later.
much covered it. That's exactly, the way it should have been approached. I think they should table it, come back with the necessary information, and then review it from there. That's my opinion.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, there would have to be a motion to table, so.
Right.
That's correct.
I'm thinking my way through it. So, Jack, let me ask you this.
Can I make a motion not to table?
You could, let's talk this through for a second, because there may be a way to satisfy both points here. Is there a way for them to submit evidence to you, either in electronically or whether, so they wouldn't have to come back next month, and we could just take this up quickly and take a look?
Sure, if the board were to close the public hearing and offer an approval, they could have a condition of that approval be that the applicant provide me this alternative plan that they put together. You know, it's sort of open-ended, though, because if it's just, hey, I need this other document, but it's already approved, you know,
Yeah.
the map in front of us is already
That'd be a moot
approved,
point.
then it might be a moot point.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it sounds like the board may be comfortable with what is in front of us tonight, based on, you know, the scope of work and hearing from the other neighbors. But I would say if we are gonna be interested in seeing this alternative map that the applicant has, you know, testified to it being in existence, I would say we probably would wanna leave this open public hearing and not make it a condition unless we really want to get creative with it. But we could make a condition of approval for this. It's just we're already approving it before we look at the other.
No, I'm just trying to think of ways.
Yeah.
Go ahead, point.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm comfortable with the applicant's explanation and with Eric's analysis of how far perhaps that it would have to be moved to the south. So I have no reservations at this time.
Okay. Pat, what do you think?
Well, given the aspect of how we are supposed to handle things on this board,
Uh-huh.
and that kind of condition where there may be an opportunity to not have to have a variance by relocating the garage has not been presented. And I think that we need to be prudent as far as we need to at least look at that. I don't think we can just say, you know, we think it hasn't been plotted out. So I would say I would be against it.
Go ahead.
I think that the designer, not a registered architect, by the way, but the designer of the project did a very sensitive job. I think that took the program that is the owner's needs into account and articulated it, that it would be an asset to the neighborhood. And I think that when all is said and done and the analysis, that it would be, yeah, I think it is the minimal amount of relief required for this particular use and program.
Okay. Eric, you got anything else you want to add? I'm with Wayne on this. I think we've got enough in front of us that I feel comfortable with the neighbor's testimony, that if we want to proceed. Now, obviously, we need 4 positive votes tonight, so I don't want to put them in a bad spot. And I'm not hearing unanimity. So, at this point, based on the, rather than go forward and risk, go ahead, Pat, you got something you want to say?
We just wanna look at
I just
something.
want to show.
Okay,
We're gonna look at.
there's a little more discussion going
Yeah,
on
we're gonna have a little more
as I'm
look.
blathering.
This is 6.4.
Yeah, you can just swing that by.
See this point right there?
Right.
To get that to there, puts that back there.
Yeah.
It's past the back of
That's it.
whatever that room is. They really can't.
Because of this curve over
Right.
here.
Yeah,
Here, this is it,
Exactly.
this point here pushes it back.
exactly.
All right, okay.
Something you're more comfortable with now that you've seen
Yeah,
that?
you know, again, the configuration of the road.
Yeah.
And again, Eric, was on point as far as, location.
Yeah,
I think it's also important to note that we have neighbors here in support.
yeah,
Everybody was notified, nobody has come out against
Understood.
this design. I think the points made over here are absolutely valid and true. We have to look at feasible and prudent alternatives.
Exactly.
However, I think, based on discussion,
well, yeah. and
the prudent alternatives aren't gonna end up any better than the
And
design in front of us.
Based on everybody's expertise, or I will automatically defer to your expertise in this, Pat, and Wayne and Eric. It seems like in order to make it comply, we'd have to move that garage to a spot where it actually becomes an outbuilding and then another problem.
Exactly.
So, I think I'd entertain a motion to approve the variance as,
We do still have to close the public hearing.
all right, well, then I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Pat makes a motion. Second. Wayne's, or Eric seconds it. Did I do good enough, Ms. Bowser? Is that all right, or are you gonna have to YouTube me to find
Thank
it?
you, Chairman Crowe.
All right.
And then just to vote, we had a motion, a second.
Oh, yeah. All in favor, gentlemen?
Aye.
All right. So the public part of the hearing is closed. So with that, we've had pretty
The
much had a
discussion.
discussion. So with that, I'd entertain a motion to approve the variance as requested. Anybody? Pat makes a motion to approve it.
After further review, I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second.
And Wayne seconds. Ms. Bauer, will you call the roll?
Absolutely. Commissioner Garrett,
Yes.
Commissioner Panza,
Yes.
Commissioner Rizzo,
Yes.
and Chairman Crowe.
Yes. And yes means vote, we're approving the variance.
Okay.
So, congratulations, your variance is approved. No variance is effective until it's recorded on the land record. You have to provide it for you, you gotta record it on the land record.
Decided to,
I'll be in touch. Yeah.
Jack's gonna
Yeah.
send you something and you're gonna record it on the land records. Remember to bring your $60 to record it on the land
There
records.
will be a filing fee charged.
There is a mild fee at the town clerk's office to record that.
I'll
So,
take some of that.
I'm gonna take this.
with that, we have
Just-
one more piece of business to take up before we
Yeah, I
leave,
just
and this
wanna-
is just an update on our.
Quick update on my end. At our last meeting, we discussed the Airbnb operation at 473 Ridgeview Road. Since that has happened, the property owner did not file an appeal to the courts. Our town attorney did file for an injunction against the property owner to cease all commercial renting of the property. We just had that hearing this morning, and it was granted by the judge. So we now have a temporary injunction, and I gave everybody a copy of the result, barring any use of that property that is not within the guidelines of Article 3 of our zoning regulations, which pertain to the residential district.
good.
So I just want to let everybody know that that was just today.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do we know how many Airbnbs are in Orange?
As of right now, I think I only have one property that is listed. I have not had any complaints or anything stem from it. However, the TPZC is in the middle of drafting new language that sort of cleans up our residential rental language. And that being said, our current language absolutely bars this type of activity, as we've gotten evidence of. But in the effort of the ever-changing world and landscape that people use their properties for, the board is drafting new language that I was in discussion with town council. We kind of want to get that figured out before we begin any other actions that are going to end up in an injunction, ending up costing the town a lot of money. You know, so I did discuss that with town council, and we said, let's do this text amendment first, and then handle any issues that stem from that.
That makes sense.
I have a question too, and I think it's the same one you're about to ask. Wayne and I were discussing this before. What is the remedy that we have as the town if they violate this injunction?
It's a better question for town council. I think if they are willingly and knowingly not listening to this order, I believe the property owners, or anybody facilitating it, obviously fines. I think they can throw you in jail for a period of time.
Could the police go out there and remove anybody from the premises?
I don't know if we have that kind of authority. I don't know if we could knock on the door, hold up the order, and say, everybody in here, get out. I don't think that we can do that. I was instructed by town council, let's say if there's something going on over the weekend. I would stop by the property, obviously, if I'm available, record and document any violations, and then I would be within my right to knock on the door, make a tenant or whoever is there aware of the order. What if it's, let's say, what if the homeowner's in there?
Right.
Just because there's a car in the driveway doesn't mean that this order is being violated. So we would have to take that as it comes, but I
Well, and
think
that's-
Doesn't usually a marshal do that, like
a marshal would
eviction?
serve, yeah, if somebody was being evicted, but again,
Yeah.
that's not this
Yeah.
case here.
Well, and the other problem is we've got an injunction against the owners. We don't necessarily have an injunction against anybody who's in there.
Exactly. So it's not a perfect system, but we are within our rights to make whatever, renter
Yeah.
is there aware of this order. How they respond to that is up to them, but we obviously would take any action necessary against the property owner as a result of that.
Wayne, it's your turn now. I cut you off.
Two things. One, aren't there outstanding building and fire code violations there? And have the building official and the fire marshal issued their appropriate?
They have, yes. It was the building department and the health department. Both have fairly major violations there. They were also in on the hearing today. We never got to testimony because the applicant never filed an appearance and never showed up. But it was myself, the sanitarian, the fire marshal, the assessor, and the building official, as well as the neighbor across the street, who were ready to testify today. So those violations have been issued. They are just being handled separately than the zoning action. But in case we needed to really drive the point home at today's hearing, we brought them in just in case. Obviously, they weren't
Okay.
needed.
Well,
My
that
other question
more
has
teeth there.
more to do with curiosity. What if the people,
The green light.
what if the people there don't pay a fee, aren't charged? Does there have to be an exchange of funds in order for there to be a violation?
It's a very good question. It's a tough enforcement action because, let's make up an example here. Let's say that there is 10 cars on the property, but somebody in there is the property owner. It's owner occupied, and let's say it's their own family.
Right.
So it is a bit difficult to definitively say that. However, the owner's silence is deafening. We had a complaint October 11th. So very recently, after the property was removed from Airbnb, and well after the decision of the Zoning Board of Appeals to uphold or to modify the order, there was a gathering there where there was many vehicles parked on the property and in the street. For me, without hearing from the property owner saying, hey, we understand that this property is not allowed to be used as this is me and my family here tonight. Without hearing that, I am left to assume that it is continued to being used as the way that we don't want it to be used for. So until somebody shows me something else, I'm going to consider it being used by unknown renters, not owner occupied, and in violation of not only my order, but now the judge's order.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right, Wayne.
But also,
Short of
any-
interviewing everybody in there, it's tough to.
Right, yeah. No, it's kind of an interesting.
It is. It
take
absolutely
on
is.
the situation.
any fines that accrue can be enforced with a lien on the property. correct?
Absolutely, yes.
So that
If-
could ultimately be the source of the
And I
remedy
did issue a fine notice, earlier this month. I think it was shortly after that October 11th issue. with town council, we said, let's get through this hearing first. Let's get the judge involved. Obviously, if this continues, fines will be a lot easier to enforce if it's coming from the judge as well.
Correct.
So that was our attitude, but
So that's
issuing
really,
fine.
that's really the
Absolutely
enforcement
possible.
enforcement mechanism then, is that you.
For sure.
You start clicking that lien, and eventually it gets to a spot where you can foreclose it. and then-
Absolutely, yep.
Okay.
And like I said, I don't know how extreme it has to get, but I know that, you know, you are playing with jail time if you are continuously and willingly ignoring
Violating a court
judge.
order,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly, so,
Well, that's within the contempt powers of the court then, too. But I was just thinking about here as a town.
100%,
The
yeah.
fines would-
We absolutely can continue with that.
And
Yep.
so I assume attorney's fees and stuff would click into those fines as
That
well.
was included in the judgment as well.
That's good to hear.
So they are responsible for that.
They're responsible, whether they want to show up or not, they're responsible.
No, no, I'm saying you can foreclose and collect.
Sure, we would eventually fines would build up, we would file a lien on the land records, and then it would be up to town council to start a foreclosure action.
Right, okay.
Yep,
So that's where everything comes in.
that's where we're at.
I caught Miss Bowser yawning, so she's got to get home to her puppy tonight. He probably needs to go out. It's probably been a couple of hours, so the puppy
Yeah.
probably needs to go out. So with that, gentlemen,
Yeah,
I'd
you gotta keep
entertain a
that going.
motion
You're good.
to adjourn.
So moved.
Wayne makes a motion to adjourn. Can I have a second? Pat Panza makes a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a good evening. Good night
Thank
to
you.
everybody in TV land. Thank you to the people in the back that made us all look good.
Yep.